Thomas Costanzo, right?
Yeah, you got it.
Thomas Costanzo.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you all for being here. I just want to first give a shout out to my ex-girlfriend, Joanne Ritchie. She died on January 3rd, 2024. And she's been really influential in me doing this. And she, one of the things I got out of the relationship was just being able to get out of my comfort zone. And she died from complications due to surgery. And I don't know if anybody knows this or not, but doctor death is actually the third highest form of death in the United States. 100 to 400,000 people die every year from doctor death. So you have these 4 doctors, and they're sitting around talking about who they like to operate on. And the first doctor says, well, I like working on electricians. And the other doctors say, well, why do you like working on electricians for? Well, that's because you open them up and everything's color-coded. And then the second doctor says, well, I like working on accountants. And then the other doctors say, why do you like working on accountants for? Well, you open them up and everything's numbered. Then the third doctor says, well, I like working on contractors. Well, why do you like working on contractors for? Well, you open them up, put them back together, and oh my God, if you have a few parts left over, it's no big deal. Then the fourth doctor says, well, I like working on politicians. I say, why do you like working on politicians for? Oh, you open them, they're gutless and spineless, and their head and their ass are interchangeable. This guy goes in to see the doctor, and the doctor says, well, I got some bad news and I got some worse news. And he goes, well, what's the bad news, doctor? He goes, well, you got 24 hours to live. And the guy goes, well, what could be worse than that? I couldn't get a hold of you yesterday. And this other guy goes to the doctor and says, I got some good news, I got some bad news. What's the bad news, doctor? Well, you got Alzheimer's. And what's the good news? You can go home and forget about it. You got this criminal Donald J. Trump, criminal mastermind. He's in his 18th day of his trial. He goes to see Putin, and he says, and Putin he introduces him and says, my name is Donald J. Trump. And Putin says, what does J stand for? Genius. I don't hate Donald Trump. I mean, a lot of people think I do, but I'm a Buddhist, and Buddhists, we don't hate anybody. I just think he's a criminal, and he's a narcissist, and he's unfit for office, and we need to put him in prison. There's a Buddhist monk, and he goes to New York City, and he goes to get a hot dog, and he's in his robes and everything. And says, and the hot dog vendor says, well, what do you want on your hot dog? He says, oh, make me one with everything. And so the guy makes him one, throws everything on the hot dog, and the guy gives him the hot dog, gives him a $50 bill, and the guy just keeps a $50 bill. And the monk says, well, where's my change? He goes, oh, all change comes from within. How does a Japanese American princess change her light bulb? Daddy, I need a new apartment. How many MAGA supporters does it take to change the light bulb? 0, because Donald Trump convinced them that the light is fixed and they all cheer for him in the dark. How many psychologists does it take to change the light bulb? It takes 1, but it takes a very long time, and the light bulb has to want to change. Oh, what does a thong and Donald Trump's hair have in common? They both barely cover an asshole. So, Donald Trump, he dies and goes to heaven, and he goes up to St. Peter, and St. Peter says, well, Donald, we got some new programs up here, and you get to spend a day in heaven and a day in hell, and you get to decide where you want to stay. He goes, well, that's not how they told me it was like on earth. He goes, yeah, we'll make lots of changes. So he sends him into heaven, and he spends a day out there, and he sees Gandhi, and he sees Mother Teresa, and Julian Assange, and they're hanging out, and they're playing harps, and everybody's meditating and praying and stuff. And after a day, he gets back and says, oh, Donald, how'd you like heaven? Oh, it's pretty cool. And he goes, okay, Donald, now you get to go down to hell, and you get to see what it's like. So he puts him in the elevator and sends him down to hell. When he gets out there, it says, Donald J. Trump Golf Course. And you got all of his buddies there. He's got Richard Nixon, and he's got Jim Jordan, and who else? Clarence Thomas and Ginny Thomas and Eileen Cannon, they're all hanging out, they're playing golf, there's open bar and everything's women running around topless, and he sees the devil and he goes, man, this is not how they told me it was going to be like on earth. He goes, yeah, didn't St. Peter tell you how we make a lot of changes down here? And so he says, okay, Donald, now go up to heaven and you go tell St. Peter where you want to spend all of eternity. And so he gets up there and he sees St. Peter, and St. Peter says, okay, Donald, which one do you like? And he goes, well, heaven was nice, but I really liked hell. So, okay, Donald, get down on the hill. He puts him on the elevator and sends him down to hell, and it's fire and brimstone. There's lava around, it's hot, sweaty. All these guys are banging rocks with breaking one rock into little rocks, and he sees the devil, and he goes, well, what the hell happened? Yesterday it was great, and what happened? Oh yeah, yesterday we were campaigning. So then Donald Trump, he dies and goes to heaven, and he sees the devil, and he says, okay, we get to spend, you have to decide on, we give one of 3 rooms, you get to pick which one you like. And he goes to the first room, and he sees Clarence Thomas, and he's breaking rocks into little rocks, and it's hot, and he goes, man, this is terrible. And don't you have anything better? And he puts him in the next room, and he sees Rudy Giuliani, and he's digging ditches, and like, God, this is terrible. Everybody loves me. I've been so great for everybody. And he goes, okay, Donald, well, he puts you in the third, he shows him the third room, and he sees JFK, and he's getting a blowjob from Marilyn Monroe, and he goes, wow, this is a really good, I'll pick this room. And he goes, okay, Marilyn, your replacement has arrived. All right, thank you very much.
One more time for Thomas Costanzo. I think this is that's your, okay.